Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So, we do have a couple of leaks to talk about today, one for PlayStation and then one possibly for Xbox as well. There is a rumor floating around that Xbox might have gotten another big partner to work on an exclusive title, and this could be very exciting if there's any truth to this at all. As for PlayStation, without a doubt, The Last of Us Remake did leak out online, though it seemingly has caused a bit of a controversy, so we'll talk about that one as well. To start things off today though, Annapurna's newest title, Stray, just had an absolutely phenomenal launch. Of course, this game launched directly into PlayStation Plus Extra and has gotten a lot of recognition for that reason among others. This is the service's first day one title, and we can now say this has officially been a big success for Stray's publisher being Annapurna. Stray turned out to be a good game. It was received very well online from both fans and critics alike, and now it's just kind of taken over social media. A lot of people have been posting about it online, sharing videos, images, etc., and now thanks to Benji Sells, it's been revealed that Stray has shattered the concurrent players record for any Annapurna game on Steam, eclipsing 60,000 total concurrent players. Now, to put that into perspective, their second biggest launch was for 12 minutes. Ironically, also a day one title for Xbox Game Pass, hitting 8,000 players. So Stray is comfortably ahead of 12 minutes with 60,000 total, and I think that just kind of shows you how big of a hit this game truly is. Now, I also think that this kind of speaks to these day one titles, though. It is rather interesting to me that Annapurna's two biggest launches on Steam were both day one titles for subscription services. We've talked about this at great length in previous videos, but word of mouth is very important. And I think with these games launching day one into these services increases that word of mouth drastically, which are helping these games succeed even more on other platforms. We've seen this a lot with Xbox Game Pass. It's helped out a lot of games, but now we're seeing something similar here with PlayStation Plus Extra as well. Contrary to what some might believe out there, it does appear that these services can be very beneficial for developers, and that doesn't even include what Sony and Microsoft are paying to have these games on their service. By the way though, big congrats to Stray on all of its early success. Now, Nintendo also announced a free update for Mario Strikers Battle League that includes some much needed new content. That really has been one of the big complaints with this game because, while it is indeed fun, it's also been devoid of content. Well, that's slightly changing tomorrow on July 21st as its first planned update that includes new gear, a new desert map, and most importantly, two new characters being Daisy and Shy Guy will release. Now, this is just the first update for 2022 as Nintendo also revealed a roadmap which shows they have two more planned updates for 2022. And that's all good and everything. This is basically modern gaming at its finest. This is a live service game where they quote-unquote strategically release content beyond the launch to keep engagement high. So I guess Nintendo is diving into that realm a little bit more, and we'll see how all of this works out for them, though I don't know if this necessarily fixes its content issue per se. Battle League still doesn't really have much in the way for single player, and its multiplayer still lacks certain basic features such as 4 versus 4 online. I mean, if you really think about it, we have battle royales where like 100 people play together online, so you would think that they could get 4 versus 4 working. With them releasing more content though throughout the year, maybe they'll fix some of those issues in due time as well, but for the time being, you can enjoy this new free update again tomorrow on July 21st. Let's go and talk about Xbox though, and this new possible partner that might be working on an exclusive title, and that's for PlatinumGames. We'll kind of come back to that here in just a moment, but we did talk about PlatinumGames yesterday as they suggested that the company will be taking a new direction going forward. And well, we actually got some more details as to what they meant by that. In an interview with Famitsu, they talked a lot about their future and what they have planned. They did talk a little bit more about Project GG, which is self-published and sounds quite ambitious, actually. Kamiya seems very confident in that game, stating that it's not just an action game, but thanks to all the ideas of PlatinumGames, it's grown to something much larger than he originally expected. He claims that these are the type of games that PlatinumGames will work on from now on, these more ambitious titles. Still, not necessarily too much is known about this game, though, but he did suggest suggest that it could be fully revealed next year at E3. So I guess they were kind of starting the hype train just a little bit early here for E3 this year. But one of the most interesting things announced at this interview is that they're working on multiple unannounced games for different publishers. Some of these are big games, some are a little bit smaller, and at least one of these games are a new IP. Now, that seems like a lot for just a single studio like this, but the reason that all this is possible is because they're significantly staffing up to have more than 1,000 employees. So PlatinumGames, without a doubt, they do have some huge plans right now, and even though we don't know exactly what games they're working on, we might have an idea as to one publisher that they might be working with, and that's none other than Xbox. Now, there's actually a few different reasons to believe this might be happening. The first of which is because of a recent leak from Ecstasis TV. According to his source, PlatinumGames recently approached Xbox to publish and finance a game. Now, is this source reliable? What game are they talking about? And did Xbox actually accept their proposal? Well, those are definitely some good questions, but even disregarding the rumor itself, there's still actual evidence that PlatinumGames does indeed want to work with Xbox. And, well, we actually already know the game that they want to work on. That would be none other than the infamous canceled Xbox One game being Scalebound. Yes, Scalebound just refuses to die. PlatinumGames has publicly stated multiple times that they want to work with Xbox game and they want to revive Scalebound. Back in February of this year, they expressed interest in reviving it, stating this: Kamiya has always wanted to do Scalebound, so we'd like to have a proper discussion with Microsoft. We did a lot of work on it, and it's no use to Microsoft keeping the game in its current form, so we'd like to do something about it. Phil, let's do it together. That came from both Hideki Kamiya and Atsushi Inaba, and they do seem very serious about this subject. This is actually not the first time that they've mentioned this either. They've taken complete ownership in the cancellation, and they believe that they're experienced enough now to finally complete what they originally set out to do. And for that matter, Scalebound, well, that was a dream game for Kamiya, so you better believe that he wants to finish this game. In fact, he posted this on Twitter back in February as well. You can see a picture here from Microsoft and then Kamiya saying, "Thanks, Phil. Let's work together again," with a winking emoji. So there is definitely a real interest in working together once again, whether that be Scalebound related or something completely different. Now, whether they're actually working together, that's still a different story. But I think that the most interesting statement made here, though, was that Atsushi Inaba mentioned that he wants to have a proper discussion with Phil Spencer. This does kind of line up with that leak, so who knows? Maybe they have officially talked with one another. I know some Xbox fans out there, they are still a little bitter to what happened with Scalebound on Xbox One, but PlatinumGames, without a doubt, they are very talented. We saw that with Nier Automata, we've seen that with Bayonetta. Bayonetta 3 looks excellent, by the way, and we've even seen it with games like Astral Chain. So I personally believe that Xbox, and this is just my own opinion, but I personally believe that they should roll the dice and try again. PlatinumGames, they're more experienced now, and well, Xbox, they're a very different company now than what they were back then. They can afford to take more risks with things like Xbox Game Pass. That'd be a great way of having a game like this, and this time they can let PlatinumGames make the exact game as they want to. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be Scalebound, it can be something completely different, but I think PlatinumGames is a unique studio that is definitely worth the financial bet for Xbox. You know, they always like to talk about wanting more Japanese games, and right here, this is a chance to get an exclusive title from one of Japan's most talented studios. I mean, they already have Kojima Studios, but if they could somehow get a PlatinumGames exclusive as well, Xbox would really be rolling with some high-profile Japanese exclusives. Let me know what you all think about all this, though. Do you think Xbox should take another chance on PlatinumGames or not? Let me know in the comments below. Now, we do also have a PlayStation leak to talk about, as both footage and images of The Last of Us Part 1 has leaked out online. Now, as always, I'm not going to post those things on my channel for very obvious reasons, but they are out there and they are legitimate. This is actually becoming quite common for Naughty Dog leading up to their releases, which is kind of strange, but nonetheless, there are direct comparisons of the remake and the original now, thanks to this leak. And we did get to see actual video footage of the intro as well. Since this is a remake, no major spoilers was here for a lot of fans out there, thankfully. And I will say, based on what I saw, graphically, The Last of Us Part 1 is a big improvement. It definitely looks really good visually, though this leak still did cause some controversy, and that's for really two different reasons. The first of which is because of what the leaker stated. According to the user who leaked all this, claimed that the remake will have VRR support and has 2 different graphical settings, which is pretty common anymore. Supposedly, it will have a gameplay mode which runs at 4K 40 frames per second, and then dynamic at 4K 60 frames per second. The leaker also said that there will be accessibility options much like The Last of Us Part 2, and then the claim that's drawing so much attention, and that is the claim that there's no gameplay improvements. Instead, according to the leaker, most of the changes are to the animations and the audio. Now that has left a lot of fans online disappointed, if it is indeed true, but this is still an if as of this moment. It is important to keep in mind that Naughty Dogs themselves said something different, as they previously said this. We've implemented modernized gameplay, improved controls, and expanded accessibility options in the single-player experience to allow even more individuals to enjoy the game. Effects, exploration, and combat have all been enhanced. Leveraging the PS5's powerful hardware, we also implemented 3D audio, haptics, and adaptive triggers. Both returning fans and new players alike will have the opportunity to experience both The Last of Us Part 1 and its prequel story Left Behind in a whole new way. So, as you can see here, Naughty Dog, they're saying something completely different, specifically mentioning things like enhanced combat and better controls. Now, how drastic these changes actually are, well, that kind of remains to be seen. That's kind of where an official gameplay trailer would be very useful. I mean, this game is releasing sometime here soon, so hopefully we get that sometime here soon. This leak here, though, it only revealed the intro, which doesn't really get into its combat. So again, the jury is still kind of out on that. So I'd say that everybody just needs to kind of calm down just a little bit in terms of the no gameplay improvement thing. But I think one of the major reasons that this is sparking so much controversy is because the price. This is a $70 remake, whereas the original, I mean, it's not even all that old. It's not really a game that fans were necessarily asking to remake, and this will be the 3rd time that this game is released in less than 10 years. So the price has been a big talking point, and some people, they want big changes to kind of justify its steep asking price. I can definitely understand that too. I feel like the price could have been lower. I guess it is what it is, but even then though, it's still a great game, and the visuals from what I saw, they do look really good. It does look like a lot of effort went into the remake, and I think that it's just kind of up to each individual if they think those enhancements are worth its $70 asking price. For a lot of people though, it might just be one of those games to wait for it to go on sale. As for the gameplay itself though, I think that it's just best to wait for an official gameplay trailer so we can see what kind of enhancements it got for ourselves rather than relying on a second-hand claim. Just hopefully Naughty Dog actually decides to release gameplay sometime here soon. We do also have one more quick update to talk about for Xbox, as they just officially announced that Discord voice chat is finally coming over to Xbox. This will allow Discord users on Xbox, PC, and mobile devices to communicate with one another, which will absolutely make cross-platform games even better. Cross-platform games are becoming more and more common, as we've seen in recent years, and with Discord being such a popular option on PC, this really just makes for an easier way to communicate and chat with your friends across platforms rather than being forced to use Xbox Chat. This update though will first be released to Xbox Insiders, and that update is actually rolling out today. So if you are in the Xbox Insider program, keep an eye on that update. As for everyone else, we don't have an exact date just yet. We just know that it's coming quote-unquote soon, but even then, this is still fantastic news and a very welcome addition for Xbox. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, now that all of the big 3 console makers are investing into a subscription service with a library of games, how many are you subscribed to? And as you can see here, most of you all are subscribed to at least one, being 61%. Then 16% of you all are subscribed to 2 of these services, 15% are subscribed to none, and then 5% are subscribed to all 3. So there you have it, most of you all are only subscribed to one of these services, and looking through the comments, it looks like that service is more than likely Xbox Game Pass, which does make sense. Xbox Game Pass has been around for a little while now, and it is extremely popular. Xbox Game Pass, to a lot of people, I mean, it has built this reputation of being the best deal in gaming. So a lot of people are subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, whereas something like PlayStation Plus Extra, it still has some things to prove. It's still new, and while they did release release Stray day one. That is an absolutely excellent title to get day one, but they need to prove that they can do that consistently. That's still something that Sony needs to do. And then Nintendo, they do have Nintendo Switch Online. That's more for retro games. It's not quite the same as Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra, but it's still a nice little service to have. And the really cool thing about Nintendo Switch Online is it is very affordable at just $20. Now, as for Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack, that is $50, and it's actually been criticized for being a little bit more expensive, but it's still a cool service to have if you want to play some old Nintendo 64 games. What I think Nintendo needs to do is just add more of those retro emulators to Nintendo Switch Online, and I mean, we've gotten rumors that they will. I think that will certainly help their numbers out quite significantly in the long run. Getting things like the Game Boy Advance as an example, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, subscriptions are definitely on the rise right now. I mean, we also have seen a lot of third parties have their own service. Ubisoft has one, EA has one. This is definitely a big thing going into the future, but I think that Xbox Game Pass, that really has just kind of set the bar on what these services can and should be. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.